Every animal has a story. Sadly, throughout their Costa Rica trip, Gabi, Kasila, and Caro have encountered many heartbreaking stories of animals abused at the hands of humans. Today may be their hardest day yet, as they meet the animals at Altura's Wildlife Sanctuary.
Both monkeys were tied with a rope around their neck to a stick in somebody's yard for more than 20 years.
How low human beings have gone treating animals.
Here, the staff has put a special focus on keeping track of these animal stories so visitors can learn and be touched enough to do something about it.
I just wish it could change. It could change.
It's been a few years since we've traveled together. There's still so much yet to be discovered.
Human beings can be so cruel towards so many animals.
When you have the opportunity to look into their eyes, to know their stories.
Animals that are rescued here can be released into the wild again, where they're really meant to live. I hope people get inspired and treat animals with more care and respect.
Dominical is a beach town on Costa Rica's western shore, attracting numerous tourists every year. And that's one target audience the Altura's Wildlife Center wants to reach, with its messages about the harmful effects of the wildlife pet trade. Mike Graber, the director and founder, has been volunteering in animal rescue for more than 40 years. And there are few things he loves more than when a child walks into his animal sanctuary tucked under the forest trees among the calls of wild toucans.
So my personal vision is to try to inspire the young ones. And whenever I get a kid in here, I work hard at trying to make sure that their interest is piqued. And when they walk out the door, many times they tell me, I'm going to be a veterinarian. And when that happens, it just warms my heart.
Mike's sanctuary, Alturas, is the next stop for Gabi, Kasila, and Caro as they travel through Costa Rica. It's been a memorable trip so far.
All the impressions, they just float in the rain, don't they? All the animals we've seen
all
and
the
the stories. Yeah,
Definitely.
But I think we're going to get some great stories today as well.
The girls have also been enjoying the local cuisine, which includes eating rice and beans for breakfast almost every morning.
I had it twice yesterday for lunch. The waitress asked me, do you want ice cream? Ice cream, if I can have rice and beans. No, thank you. And he was like, are you on diet? No, rice and beans is better than ice cream.
Rice and beans is a very nutritious meal for a human, but as our three adventurers will find out later, it played a devastating role in the life of one monkey. Caro, Kasila, and Gabi will start today's journey learning about the story of a monkey named Honey and her primate roommates.
Well, hello, ladies.
Hello.
Welcome to Altura's Wildlife Sanctuary.
Thank you.
My name's Mike. I'm going to be your tour guide today. Our mission here at Alturas is to get these creatures back into the wild. So we accept them, get them well, and hopefully we get them back to the wild. Unfortunately, not all of the creatures are able to go back to the wild, and when they can't go back to the wild, they end up where we are now. This is the sanctuary. This is where creatures that can never go back to the wild are going to live their lives. Well, ladies, this is our white-faced monkey cage, and what we have in here are white-faced Capuchin monkeys. There's 4 of them in here, and all 4 of these monkeys have been taken away from very abusive and illegal situations. The first one that came to us was a guy named Coco, and that's him laying on that branch there with his legs hanging. This monkey was taken as a baby for a pet, tied to the side of somebody's house on 6 feet of rope, never given food, water, protection from sun, or protection from rain, and would certainly have died very quickly had not the Costa Rican government rescued him and brought him to me.
But why do people, keep it and don't feed it?
That's a very good question. Many people are captivated with the idea of wild pets. It's always a bad idea. Secondly came a monkey named Pablo. This is him right here. Pablo was taken away from a gang of drug dealers as they tried to cross the Panamanian border. They, of course, went to jail. A baby monkey was brought to me, and since he is a Colombian drug lord, we named him Pablo. Next came a little monkey named Honey, and that's her sitting up there on the branch. Honey was a monkey that was taken as a baby for a pet, locked in a small cage for 2 years, and during this entire time, she was given very improper nutrition. She was fed only rice and beans and nothing else. When this monkey came to us, it was in very sad condition. It had no energy, its fur had fallen out, it was skin and bones, all from this improper diet. The problem was we couldn't get the monkey on the correct diet because the only food it had ever experienced in its life was rice and beans.
Didn't know anything else.
That's right. It had never experienced anything else. It had never experienced flavor, pleasure from its food, sweetness, or anything like that. So when it finally did take its first bite of banana, it was sensory overload for this monkey. And within minutes, this monkey was stuffing down the banana with both hands. It had banana smeared all over its face, across the top of its head. And
Spading in it.
and then that's when the first sugar rush of its life ever hit. And the monkey started running around in circles with 2 handfuls of banana, desperately looking for a place to hide that banana from its other monkey counterparts.
Delicious.
Finally, there's that monkey laying over there in the corner. Her name is Greta, and this is truly a sad story. This monkey was taken young as a pet, thrown into a 3-foot square cage, thrown into the backyard with 15 dogs back there, and then they proceeded to ignore the monkey completely. For the next 4 years, this monkey was terrorized on a daily basis by dogs, neglected of food and water, when it would cry and scream because it was hungry or thirsty or going crazy from being locked in a small cage. The lady who had it would come out with a pot of scalding water and throw hot water on the monkey to shut it up. Now, when the monkey arrived here, it arrived in a very bad mental state. It took us weeks just to stop the crying. It took us several more months to introduce this monkey in with the other monkeys, and once it was introduced there, it took about a year for this monkey to start acting like a monkey again. It was still experiencing very bad post-traumatic stress episodes for the first 7 or 8 months of its time here. And even now, as you can see, it's not interacting with the other monkeys.
So much shame.
Very sad. She's scarred for life.
Now she's been with us about 1.5 years. She has come a long way. She's actually been seen playing. And when an wild animal that you have in a cage plays, you know everything is right.
Right. So she still has a way to go.
She has a way to go. She'll be working on getting better her whole life. But as you can see, these other 3 monkeys are here playing. She wants to. She doesn't know how.
She's still afraid.
When I looked at her on the floor and I saw the other 3 monkeys happy, playing so happily, and she's still trying to learn to play. And for me, it was like seeing a child that doesn't know how to play and still learning, like lost her childhood. For me, it was so sad because a monkey is such a playful animal. Imagine a monkey that can't play anymore. For me, it was just so sad.
And Mike was telling us that they, of course, have feelings like humans do. Sometimes people say, no, it's just an animal. whatever. No, I mean, they can feel, and we should know that and act protecting them.
Another animal that loves to play and move freely is the spider monkey. Their long arms give the illusion they are gliding through the air. For an animal that needs that much space and possesses greater intelligence than a gorilla, one can only imagine the misery of being tied on a short leash.
These guys have a natural life expectancy of 30 years. And the two monkeys that we have in this cage are 21 and 25 years old. Now, the reason that these two monkeys are here with us instead of out in the jungle canopy where they ought to be is because they've had a very difficult life. They were both held prisoner for their entire lives. Both monkeys were tied with a rope around their neck to a stick in somebody's yard for more than 20 years. The older of the two monkeys also had all of his teeth pulled out by this person.
The goal at Alturas is to give these monkeys a spacious cage and suitable food to live out the last few years of their lives, since they can never go back to the wild. It's stories like this that help Mike explain why keeping wild animals as pets is so harmful.
From the viewpoint of the animal, it's taken away from its natural habitat. It's not allowed to indulge in its natural behavior. And once you've done that, after a certain point, this animal can never go back to the wild. So if you're not a responsible person that knows how to care for the animal correctly, then it's going to suffer. This is one of the reasons that we so aggressively take a stab at the illegal pet trade anytime we possibly can. These animals belong in the wild, and as I've already said, our mission is to get them into the wild. And unfortunately, a huge amount of the creatures that come here can't go back to the wild as a result of over-domestication.
I just wish it could change. It could change. And I'm glad here in Costa Rica, things are getting better.
It's hard to estimate just how many humans die in incidents with their exotic pets, or how many more of these animals die at the hands of humans. In the United States alone, the advocacy organization Born Free has tracked 44 incidents where humans were killed and 189 incidents where exotic pets were killed, all within a 20-year span. The numbers clearly illustrate that wild animals belong in the wild, where their natural behaviors are not a threat to humans. Yet, for some species, like tigers, there are more that exist in captivity than in the wild. Today, Gabi, Kasila, and Caro meet some native Costa Rican animals and hear their heartbreaking and inspiring stories. The animals in this sanctuary are not only affected by the pet trade, but also deforestation and human infrastructure. Join our three adventurers as they learn what can be done to help. Statistics won't convince everyone of the harm that often results in keeping exotic pets. That's why wildlife sanctuaries like Alturas try to paint a better picture by telling the tragic stories of the animals that live there.
This little guy here is named Rocco, and Rocco's here with us because he was severely over-domesticated. I think he thinks he's a French poodle. He's got one goal in life, and that's to curl up in your lap. Now, that's a very bad strategy for survival in the wild, and so that's why Rocco is here with us.
Many people believe they've succeeded if they've trained a wild animal to become docile. But even animals that act tame maintain some wild instincts and may not behave exactly how the owner wants. If the person becomes tired of keeping the animal, it may never be able to get back to the wild. It is sentenced to living a life never fully belonging in captivity or its natural habitat.
Add to that the fact that these are wild animals, No matter what it is, there's always a danger to the person who has it because they are wild animals and you can't expect them to behave like domestic animals. Sooner or later, somebody gets bit or hurt.
Many baby sloths enter Alturas after falling from high treetops where they were clinging to their mother. But there is also a dark illegal pet trade that is increasingly feeding the human obsession with sloths. These pet owners don't consider that sloths need the high temperature and humidity of a tropical rainforest to be comfortable, as well as a very specific diet. This complex diet makes adult sloths not only hard to keep as pets, but also hard to release back into the wild.
And we're just starting to understand their feeding patterns. Sloths exist on a diet of leaves. It's a very low-calorie diet, and out there in the wild, they can eat up to 90-some different kinds of leaves. But in their home territory, a sloth will pick 14 or 15 kinds of leaves to make up its diet. Some of these leaves, though, are toxic. Some of them have very powerful narcotic properties. So if the sloth goes out there and just starts eating leaves, it's surely going to either toxify itself or make itself sick. And so this is a very difficult thing for us.
They would learn from their mothers, right?
Normally they'll learn from their mother, but a baby sloth stays with its mother for up to 2 years because that's how long it takes for them to decipher and learn this complicated feeding pattern.
Wow, that's a long time.
That's a long time.
According to Mike, sloths can learn from their mothers how much of a leaf they can eat and also what order to eat leaves to neutralize the toxic effects. And while sloths may look lazy, warm and fuzzy, their teeth and claws can move quickly.
They're also dangerous creatures. A regular three-toed sloth just has flat teeth like any herbivore, but these guys here have teeth like a dog. And they have no qualms about biting. And if they do get a hold of you with their teeth, they hang on like a bulldog and they don't let go.
They seem so docile.
They are pretty docile until you get too close.
Okay, so
But
keep a distance.
Are they related? Because they so...
They're not related. In nature, a baby two-toed sloth will cling to its mother for 2 years, but when it's abandoned and brought to us at, say, the age of a month, like Florisita, the small one there, it doesn't have a mother to cling to, obviously. So what they'll do is cling to any sloth that may allow that, and in this way, friendships are developed and relationships are developed between these sloths. Florisita's been with us actually quite a while. She really has no physical deformities. She's here with us because we're not able to release her. There are places that we are working with that are developing methods for getting these guys back into the jungle. But for right now, we're not comfortable enough with letting her go. We need to be sure they're surviving. You know, the important number is not the number of animals you return to the jungle. The important number is the number of animals you return to the jungle that make it.
Yes, definitely.
I think Mike is incredible. You can see when a person is really committed to their cause. He is really into animals. He was telling us that he was a volunteer for almost 30 years. That's a lot. Working, making money to then go twice a year to a place like this. And now he has their own place, and now he's making another center for the animals that cannot be released. That is amazing. And he was telling us with like an emotional thing, telling us about how their new houses for these animals are going to be. It was amazing to know him.
No matter how many animals we put back into the wild, it's only going to make a small difference. The birds and animals of the world are disappearing at a very alarming rate due to overpopulation, loss of habitat, the illegal pet trades, things like that. And even though we work very hard at putting animals back into the wild, this is like trying to fill up the ocean with a teaspoon. If the birds and animals of the world are going to be saved and be here for future generations, then it's going to have to be the young people that do it. They're going to have to get involved. They're going to have to grow up to be veterinarians and biologists and ecologists of one sort or another, because if they don't, in 100 years from now, the beautiful creatures that you see here today are going to all be gone.
One animal that continues to inspire the staff and mission at Alturas is a young hawk with an appropriate name, Esperanza, meaning hope.
Esperanza, as a very young bird, was hit by a car. Right about the time she was leaving her nest, a car collided with her and caused her some very serious injuries. It destroyed her right wing. It destroyed part of her tail. She can't grow a very good tail, but the most serious injury was a very severe head injury. When she came to us, she was unconscious, and she remained unconscious for weeks. It was as if she was in a coma, and every day we would massage food and water down her throat, and every morning there would be some new bird poop there, so we knew she was still alive, but there was no consciousness of any type there. After several weeks, we started to think that maybe the correct move would be to euthanize Esperanza. Euthanization is something we don't do very often here. We don't like to do it, and nobody really wanted to do it, and we were kind of dragging our feet on it. And during this time, it was as if Esperanza heard us talking about it because she woke up. And one morning I came out to find her standing in her cage, completely disoriented, but on her feet, and very weak, very uncoordinated, and hardly able to move. And from that point forward, a long, slow recuperation process began. It's now been more than a year, and Esperanza is doing much better, as you can see, but she's still very uncoordinated. She will not ever be able to fly, and therefore she can never go free. One other effect of the brain injury was that her character has become very docile. She's very calm, very tranquil. This is not normal for a bird of this type. We call her the princess of the sanctuary, and everybody here loves her. She might be the most beloved creature here. And when it's time to feed Esperanza, many of our volunteers compete for the honor.
Hope. I love that name. I think it captures the way that I feel about places like this. These animals now have hope for a better life. And because of people like Mike, we have hope as humans that we can stop treating animals so badly.
I just love happy endings. For some of the animals, the happy ending is to be in a big enclosure rather than being tied to us in a very short rope in someone's backyard or, surrounded by dogs. For some, and that's the main goal, is to be released back into the wild again. And I think, that should be the goal for all the animals, as this is where they belong. But personally, I think I'm looking forward to the very last happy end, and everything is going to be made new by God. No more enclosures, no more, tears for the animals really, but happy end.